Masks keep us safe, but they also keep us small. Tonight, we'll go deep with the tarot to strip away layers of shame, expectation, and self doubt so the real you can breathe. If you've been hiding behind perfectionism, productivity, or people pleasing, this is your moment to unmask and reclaim the self you were always meant to be. Welcome to Maiden Mother Crone Tarot, where we hold sacred space for divine divergence, also known as ADHD. My name is Kayla, and I'm so glad you're here tonight. Today is day 27 of the 0303 series, where I'm showing up for 30 days, bringing messages of joy, messages of hope, messages of love for women with ADHD. Before we begin, I'd like us to do a box breathing exercise. And all of my live streams have been trying to incorporate box breathing or any type of simple breathing exercise for the pure purpose of allowing us to slow down, allowing us to ground into the energy, into the present moment, allowing us to attempt to regulate our nervous systems. Excuse me. Breathing is a great way to come back to your body, to bring awareness to your body, and to help regulate, help soothe it, right? So by incorporating these into the lives, I'm hoping that you'll participate with me. I'm hoping that you'll invest this time in yourself. Invest this time in creating a safe space for your body. Okay? We'll do 3 rounds of box breathing where we're going to breathe in for 4, hold for 4, breathe out for 4, and hold for 4. You'll breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. Really focus on your breath. Fully expand when you're breathing in and fully collapse when you're breathing out. Okay? Go ahead and settle into your seat. Allow your weight to fully be supported. Remember, we're going to do 3 rounds of this breathing. Are you ready? Let's begin. Thank you so much. How do you feel in this moment? I know I feel better. Tonight's tarot topic is ADHD tarot for self-reclamation and healing. Unmasking. Who are you? Who are you beneath the multiple layers, the multiple masks, right? We don't have just one. It's a multidimensional mask that we're dealing with here. Excuse me. So, through tonight's tarot, we're going to work with each of the archetypes, the maiden, the mother, and the crone. We'll pull a few oracle cards to begin, and then we'll dig in with the tarot. We're going to see how can we step into the authenticity of who we are. How can we shed these layers of shame, layers of guilt, layers of self-doubt, self-sabotage? And what will be the tools to carry us through this self-reclamation process? Before we begin, I want to give you guys kind of an example of this, and also, excuse me, talk about some quality control issues that I've had on my live streams lately. I have a personality type where I'm always trying to expand, always trying to learn more, do new things, and make it better than it was before. Now, trying to experiment in a live stream format may not be the smartest thing to do, but I really wanted to tie in music to help us during our breath work, to help me during the readings, to help you. I don't want you to be bored during shuffling. I'm trying to make this more interesting for you. And so, with all that said, for a couple, like two or three of the readings, I tried to incorporate music. Until after I watched the replay. Excuse me. The next time I did it, my mic kept cutting out. So it wasn't a matter of the volume being too loud, it was just my mic would drop off. And then last night, the same thing happened. My mic kept dropping off during the music. So I'm apologizing now if you were part of that and it interrupted your focus. You weren't able to pay attention. I'm really sorry. I'm not going to keep using music until I can figure out a way to do it. And I'll do some tests. I can, do a private live stream to test it before. So I'll try to do that moving forward to improve. But the lesson here that I want to share with you guys is after last night's live stream. I always go back through. I told you I pull cards from the archetypes to see how the message was, if it was aligned, and how the delivery was. And then after that last night, I decided to give myself a private reading. And so I was talking to the crone. I was using the crone archetype. And I asked about the live stream replay because I looked at it and I was quite devastated. And last night, it was really late. So I was already tired. So I think some of that was just amplifying the problem, right? Just seeing the worst because we can do that. We have a tendency to do that. But I asked her because I was trying to figure out what to do. I was trying to export the audio and run it through a clearing software to try to bring it up. But even when it did that, the microphone itself just dropped out. Like you just couldn't hear me. So I would have to go back in and re-record the words. Or I was considering re-recording the whole audio and re-uploading it as a long form video. So I asked the archetype of the crone if I should do that, and she kept saying no, loud and clear, and I did not want to accept that. I was not happy with that answer because perfectionist Kayla wants it to be just right, right? Perfectionist Kayla doesn't want the message to not be seen, doesn't want the message to not be received. Perfectionist Kayla doesn't want to have people saying, "Hey, your video sucks," right? But the message that came through when I dug into the reason why was because I have momentum right now. This is day 27 of going live, right? That's amazing. And instead of celebrating that, instead of celebrating how comfortable I am talking to you now, how comfortable I am sharing my face with you, right? Instead of celebrating those things, I'm upset that something I tried to make it even better for you didn't go well. That one of the messages didn't sound right. You couldn't hear me very well. And then today, when I decided to listen to the crone and just surrender and let it go, release it, and just to go back to the message real quick, the reason she was bringing that up is because if I decided to put my energy into redoing a live stream, re-recording it, re-uploading it, then I also, because of that perfectionist tendency that started that planted that seed of desire in the first place, when I would be working on the project, it would just grow and I would want to make everything else. Oh, let's do this a little bit better. Let's do this a little bit better. And that would prevent me from just getting the project done, getting it out there. So that's one of the reasons I chose to go live. One, I felt very led to do it. This series has built such a strong connection between me and you guys. Like, I feel so close to you guys. And after the series is over, I'm not gonna go live every day, but I'm gonna miss it, and I'm gonna want to, and I'm gonna try to go live more than once a week, but we will return to the scheduled once a week after the series goes over. But the crone was telling me, "You've made so much momentum. You have so much momentum. You've made so much progress. If you invest your energy in trying to fix this tiny little thing that may not even make a difference, you're going to be too tired to do the important work that's required of you. You're not going to have the energy to do all the things that you need to do." And this morning when I got up, I got so many things done. We got my oil changed, I got my nails done, and then I worked on uploading and fixing videos on the channel and adding timestamps for you guys, so you don't have to sit through certain parts, like if you don't like watching me pull cards, if you don't like the breath work, which I hope you do because it will help you, but if not, you have the autonomy, you have the freedom to choose to just skip ahead to the message, right? But that requires work. Like with my long forms, I did a good job and I did it every time I uploaded. But with the live streams, a lot of these are happening really late in the evening. And I've told you guys I have a full-time job. I have 4 kids. I have a lot on my plate. Not to complain, but just saying, like, there's only so much time. And when I'm so tired, sometimes I don't want to do it. But I know the investment now is worth it for you guys. So if I had last night stayed up until 2 o'clock in the morning to try to figure out how to fix my video, and not even known if it would work, right? Not even known if I could have figured out how to re-record the audio only or just do the whole thing. If I hadn't even got into that can of worms, this morning I wouldn't have been able to get out of the bed at 6 o'clock and get up and to help my girls get ready for school and then go do the awesome things that I had got to do by myself this morning. I felt so accomplished when I got home, right? I was so proud of myself, and I wouldn't have had the energy to do that if I stayed up all night. So this is a great example of, I hide behind the mask of perfectionism a lot. I'm going to be really transparent with you guys. I do. And I'm learning to not identify with that, right? I'm not a perfectionist. I'm a recovering perfectionist. And even that identity, I'm not really aligned with anymore. So I'm trying to really change the script, change how I think about myself, change how I'm showing up for myself. And I'm so grateful, so thankful to the crone for calling me out, for showing up and saying, "No, you don't need to do this. This is a waste of your time. This is a waste of your energy. This is not what you're called to do. You're called to be present. You're called to be here, and you did it. And you're called to learn the lesson." So I learned the lesson. I didn't put the music on for you guys today. Hopefully, like I said, I'll be able to figure it out because I do think it adds a great element to our readings. But until that time, there will just be me and you here. So let's go ahead and pull our oracle cards for tonight. The first deck is dedicated to the maiden. Maiden, can you please give us guidance tonight for self-reclamation? Releasing these ADHD masks, the masks that keep us small, that keep us limited, the masks that we hide behind. Okay, this one. Got patience. If you've tried forever to shift a problem, there's probably something to learn from embracing it. Guys, or just talk about trying to fix a problem. And what did I do instead? I just embraced the lesson. Oh my gosh. May I let this be for now. Help me relax and trust. Every need will be met. Often, change soon follows. Oh, that's so interesting because last night in my work, in my practice, in my message with the crone, the Eight of Swords or the Eight of Wands came out, so showing that momentum, the swiftness of energy that's required. Oh, wow. That's great. All right, this next one is dedicated to the mother. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and do tarot first from the maiden because how are you guys doing tonight? If you're watching This is a Friday evening, so it's the wrap-up of the week, hopefully, for you. Maiden, can you please give us additional tarot guidance? You've given us this patience, talking about surrender earlier. Settling in the now, not having to be perfect, accepting the outcome, learning the lesson. In what ways can we step into self-reclamation, healing this productivity, toxic productivity? Oh, hello. All right, we have the Queen of Pentacles on the bottom of the deck. Love to see that. Okay. The first card we got is the Strength card. Followed by the Knight of Swords. Then we were given the Four of Cups. And the Nine of Swords. All right, now we're going to go ahead and invoke the Mother with Oracle cards first. Mother, can you please give us guidance today for this self-reclamation for ADHD souls? How can we unmask? How can we step out of the limitations of perfectionism, of productivity, of people-pleasing, so we can be the full expression of our souls and not be chained to an identity, not tied to a behavior that we hide behind? How can we step into self-reclamation, please, Mother? Okay. Oh, Mother, there's a lot of cards. I'm just going to take the one that she put there, but I will mention these. We have Lavender with Tranquility, Kindness, and Self-Care. Mushroom, Recycling, Breaking Down Problems. With those red caps there. Beautiful. And Potion, this came out last night, so I will link it for you above, even though it's the one with the weird sound. But it wasn't as bad as I thought, so brace yourself. Potion, Invigoration and Empowerment. Okay. And then the card I am going to keep on the table is Fruit, Achievement and Success. We've seen this before. All right, Mother, can we go deeper with the tarot, please? For this self-reclamation, this unmasking for this ADHD collective. How can we step into the full expression of ourselves? How can we heal these wounds, these masks that try to keep us safe, but that no longer reflect, oh, okay, popping tonight. No longer reflect our reality, please. Oh, we just got two aces, guys. And the Two of Cups, y'all. When I did my thumbnail for this video, I was just kind of like, if I'm holding the deck like this, I would just pick it up and look at the card. And I did it a few times and I kept getting the same cards. But then I was like, okay, I'm just going to go with the Two of Cups. Because to me, that speaks of like divine union within. It speaks of choosing yourself, right? And so that's the one that I picked for the thumbnail. And it came out on the bottom of the deck. I mean, like, oh, thank you, Spirit. And honestly, did I really choose it? Because like I was splitting the deck. So really the Mother gave it to me. But oh, I love that. Thank you, Mother. The first the first card we got is the Star. And this actually came out in my pre-shuffle when I was working with the energies. So I'm glad to see it again. That's right under Strength. Oh, that's beautiful. We have the Nine of Cups, the Ace of Swords, and the Ace of Wands. Two aces. That's power there, friends. That is raw, divine clarity. and just power. We've got the strength card up there from the mother, right? I mean, from the maiden. All right, now we're going to transition to the crone. Crone, can you please give us guidance tonight for this ADHD collective on self-reclamation, healing these masks? Some firework earlier, fire energy work with my candle. What can we do, please, crone, to heal this perfectionism, this people-pleasing, this toxic productivity that we find ourselves stuck in because we're too afraid to show up as we truly are? Guidance, please, crone. Discernment. Interesting. I was actually thinking about that today, about how we are all responsible for the knowledge that we take in. And I was thinking about people that I listen to, right? But how I always have this like radar inside me that's like, it's like an alarm because I was like, this is not good. Do not listen. Do not listen to like people, or if I see somebody online. There's one person that's pretty famous online that I actually thought about that I was like, oh, I don't know what it is about that person, but my soul is like, no. Like I can't even watch their content. I don't even know, like it, I just can't. So, and I've been talking about discernment a lot with us in our readings. So that's going to be really important here. Discerning what is our truth versus what is our soul's truth. Discerning, we talked about those expectations that we're to shed so we can drop this mask. So discerning what is your true expectation. Okay. Ooh. I didn't ask yet, but Queen of Cups popped out with a bunch of cards. Crone, can you please give us guidance for this ADHD collective in dropping these masks of productivity, healing this wounding that's caused us to keep these masks on, to cause us to keep us small? How can we step into our authentic self to allow ourselves to breathe? To breathe fully. When you do that, don't you just feel yourself expand? Don't you just feel yourself settle and expand into the space? How can we let our souls do that? Excuse me. How can we let our souls do that? Guidance, please, crone, for dropping these masks and reclaiming our soul's truth, reclaiming our identity. That's interesting. So the way she had me take those cards was bottom, top, bottom, top. So something about rhythm. And then we have the Two of Wands on the bottom of the deck. So this is all about planning, looking ahead, right? We get caught in these cycles of looking backwards, of comparing or reliving situations. But clearly that's not the case here. And then the first card we got is the King of Pentacles. So we have Strength, the Star, and the King of Pentacles. You guys, we have the Queen of Swords. Oh, I just realized what's on the table, guys. The King of Cups and the Empress. I just literally got chills. Holy cow. Ooh, it's like full body chills right now. King, Queen, King, Empress. That's power. We got the Strength card. We got the Star. We've got two aces. This discernment card with the Queen of Swords, she has the discernment, guys. She has the discernment. Wow, that is such a balance of feminine energy and masculine energy, grounded energy and moving energy, creation, nurturing yourself. I'm going to have to take a picture of this spread because it is expansive, to say the least. Mm, okay. Thank you for joining me tonight, friends. We're going to go ahead and settle into this message to see what the maiden, the mother, and the crone have decided to bring forward tonight. Back to the beginning with the maiden giving us this patience card. We have patience and strength right beside each other. It takes a lot of strength to be patient. There's a lot of times when I was young, when I was really young, I got really frustrated with how impatient I was with other people. It was a source of shame and just not feeling good. So I prayed and I was like, God, I want to be patient. Make me patient. All right, friends, here's some advice to you. Do not ask the universe to do something unless you're really ready for it. Because now I have 4 kids. I have a husband. I have so many animals, jobs, friends, people, all of the things that I have dealt with in my life. Patience. Be careful what you ask for. Because I have needed strength, right? And sometimes I haven't had it. And that's been a lesson. I've had to sit with that lesson with the patience card. I've had to sit with it and say, what is a healthy expectation, right? I can't expect myself to be perfect, but what can I learn from this? How can I better serve my relationships to have this patience with others? Because then ultimately I don't feel bad about how I'm showing up in the relationship, right? Relationships are so important to me. With the Knight of Swords coming up, that is swift, swift, swift clarity coming through. That is knowing what you're going to do and how you're going to do it and taking the action, the inspired action to do it, right? To actually perform it, to step into the energy of this strength, to step into this. We didn't get the hermit, but with the patience card making me think of going inward, introspection, checking out what we can learn from the situation. This mask, it kept you safe, but also it made you strong in a way because it helped you become resilient, right? You created this mask because of a wound, but your body, your ego, your subconscious put this mask in place so that you could continue to live your life and not keep experiencing the pain. Like that's why we mask, right? That's why we're so adaptable. That's why we're so resilient. That's why we're so much of a shapeshifter energy, of a chameleon energy. And it is a strength, right, to most people. But falling back into that identity as well, that mask is also a limitation because it ties having to do stuff to survival, right? That means you're always in survival mode still. So, how can we get out of that? Get out of that mentality, right? Understand that we have, like, think of the magician. We have the tools, we have the magic, we have the power to do it, but it's not required because we're no longer surviving, we're thriving. We are taking inspired action that is aligned with our soul, that is aligned with our values, our morals, that is aligned with supporting ourself, like our health here with the Empress card at the bottom from the crone. We're no longer going to accept. This may be a bit of a stretch on the interpretation, but we're no longer going to accept these cups that the world has given us. And look, in the intro, it was people pleasing, productivity, and perfectionism. And there's 3 cups here that he is not happy about, right? Done. We are done living that life. We are done tying our self worth to what we can produce. We're done bending over backwards, saying yes to people just because we feel like if we don't, we could lose the relationship. Excuse me. And initially, the maiden is showing us here this is going to be a big transition, right? This is going to cause some anxiety. This is going to cause some worry. And it's already there. That is the reason why we mask in the first place, is because of this fear of rejection, this fear of failure, this fear of falling flat in our face. I just started reading The Alchemist. One of my friends let me borrow it, and I'm enjoying it a lot. And in is it, yeah, I think it's the preface for the book. He was talking about how the people who chase their dreams have to have so much courage, so much strength here, because we no longer have the fallback excuse to say, oh, I didn't really care. Oh, that doesn't matter to me. I didn't really want it anyway. Because when we commit to our goals, our heart's desire, our passions, when we go after them with everything that we have, everyone knows it, right? Everyone can see the change in you, can hear you, because you're going to talk about it. You're passionate, you're excited. You are moving swiftly because you finally have this clarity with the Knight of Swords, right? So you're going to take it. You're going to take that clarity and you're going to cut away anything that doesn't serve. You're going to use that sword to knock these cups over as you're riding towards this life that you're going to create. Even if you have to do it terrified, even if you have to do it, and at the end of the day, you think, wow, I really hope I didn't just make the biggest mistake of my life. With the Two of Cups at the bottom of the deck from the Mother, again, that's talking to me about choice, divine choice. It's the Love card. It's partnership, partnering with others to support this life that you're going to expand into, where you are no longer shrinking, but you're expanding, where you're no longer masking, but you are radiating who you are and your truth and your passion. With that at the bottom of this energy from the Mother, it's no surprise that we have the fruit and success here, this achievement and success. I've talked about this a few times in my own personal life. When you are chasing the things that you were meant to chase, and I'm not even, that's not the right word, because we're not chasing, right? We're going towards it full speed because we are so excited. It's not a need, right? You just feel this passion. That's the only way to describe it, is passion. Because we don't need to, there is no needy energy here. That's not what we have. We have alignment. We have choice. When you are in a needy position, you're not choosing, you're desperate. We're not desperate. We're choosing ourselves. We're choosing to lower the masks, to quit performing in a way that is detrimental to ourselves, in a way that sacrifices ourselves, where we're burning out, right? With the Star coming, this really does speak of healing, right? The achievement, the true achievement, is through healing ourselves within. Understanding our self worth doesn't come from another person. It's not something we receive from an external source. Validation from others can be great and it can really encourage us in the moment, but we have to come back inward and understand that someone else's approval will never carry us through. It is always our own internal why. Why are you worthy? Why are you a success? Why are you an achievement? Is it because every day you wake up now, you don't feel the heaviness of fear, the heaviness of dread, the heaviness of a dissatisfied soul? A soul that has to show up in a way that is out of alignment. And there can be things like in my life, the jobs that I've had, they're not completely out of alignment. Like, I've always had little pieces that have fed my soul. I've had a lot of freedom in my jobs, which is very important to my soul. But that also is a trap, right? Like, that's why I've stayed in them for so long, because there's enough to feed my soul to make it. You can stay. It's okay. You're making an impact. until it's not, right? And then we get this fire burning in our belly and we can't stop. We can't stop because we know just okay isn't the life we want. The Nine of Cups is the life that we want. Wish it's coming true. Content in every way. Looking around and being amazed, being in this state of wonder and excitement, looking forward into the unknown, which used to scare us, which used to freak us out, intimidate us, make us wake up with panic attacks. Looking into the unknown now and knowing that it is our playground. It is where we get to create. If there was no unknown, then we wouldn't be able to create brand new things. If everything was known, if everything was determined, if everything was described and already created, where would the joy be in that? Where would the freedom, the expansion, the fun be? Where would the growth, right? And again, the mother gave us two aces here. And it's funny, I was thinking of aces earlier tonight as well. Aces are gifts, right? This is raw power, raw passion, an opportunity to create something magnificent with an Ace of Wands. And you are being given the clarity of direction from Spirit, where it's so clear that you can't unsee it, right? Once you've seen it, you can't unsee it. Once you've seen and felt and tasted what it tastes like to have your soul's thirst quenched, there is no turning back. There is no plan B. We go all in on ourselves, all in accepting ourselves as we are, and understanding that if there is anything we want to change about ourselves, if there's anything that we want to fix, it's not that we have to fix it to receive approval from someone else. It's not that we have to fix it to be accepted by our friends and family. We don't have to fix ourselves to be appropriate in society. The only reason you should ever want to change yourself is to step into a better expression of yourself, an expression of yourself that can, I don't want to say get more done, but be aligned in a way that you can achieve the things that you want, right? We don't have to achieve more. We just have to achieve the right things, the things that are in alignment for us. And so there are times where we can try to improve ourselves, and working in the shadows, releasing these masks is a way to do that, right? It's a way to use these gifts, use this clarity and passion to so sorry, my friends. To, as I said earlier, have the discernment to understand that everything that we thought we were is just a combination of identities that have been projected on us from others when we were too young to be able to disagree, when we were too young to justify. That's not true. When we were too young to reject the limitations that were placed on us, right? Using discernment, digging in and understanding that your soul, with this Ace of Swords, this clarity. Sorry, friends. I talked about this last night. The finale of this series is going to be amazing, and I'm going to be doing some new things with this that my body doesn't feel safe with. So I'm working through this. It's getting a lot better though. So if you can send me some positive energy, it's prayers. But with the discernment coming from the crone, this King of Pentacles, he can discern everything, right? As well as this King of Cups. He knows who he is, who his definition of his identity came from, because he's dug in deeply and planted the correct seeds and watered them, right? And approach them with a heart of compassion and love and understanding, and patiently waited, right? With the patience card, patience patiently waited, and as they grew, as they sprouted, he watched them and said, "What is the lesson? What is blooming within this seed? What is the lesson that I can capture and distill down into this plant essential oil, right? And I'm going to drop it on myself anytime I'm struggling with this. I'm going to use that distilled medicine, and it's going to help me. It's going to help me remember who I am. It's going to help me understand why that story is not true anymore." And then the discernment with the King of Cups, right? He is going to understand when other people are projecting their emotions on him, right? He can be very aware of the collective energies around us. As women with ADHD, we're highly empathetic. We have super off the charts emotional intelligence. And we have this intuition where we can just tell when things are going wrong, what someone needs. Our ability to anticipate the needs of others is just amazing. But with the King of Cups here and the discernment, we're going to learn to understand that just because somebody else is upset, even like it's not our job to figure out why. It's not our job to do that. We need to use this discernment and start channeling our energy back into ourselves, back into the needs that we have, back into feeding our soul and growing so that we can drop these masks. When I was talking about being able to anticipate the needs of others, that can really come into people pleasing, right? If you've been rejected or if you have been put down because of things that you deal with in your life, understanding that when you sense the needs of others, it's okay if you want to help, right? To be helpful. If that's the reason you want to help, is because you genuinely want to be helpful. And it's okay if that brings you joy, right? And again, with this discernment card, if you don't like what I'm saying, that's okay. Use your discernment. But we need to understand that our worthiness doesn't come from our ability to help others. Our worthiness doesn't come from our ability to protect others, provide for others. It doesn't come from our ability to hold safe space for other people. Because when we overextend ourselves, when we do that, we're not being this Empress energy, right? The Empress grounds herself, takes care of herself. She's the culmination of all the queens. Queen of Cups, Queen of Swords, Queen of Wands, Queen of Pentacles, right? We got the Queen of Pentacles from the Maiden on the bottom of the deck. And to me, she is, grounded. Just like this, excuse me, just like this King of Pentacles. I'm so sorry, my friends, for all of the coughing. But then really the truest discernment that I see on this table is this Queen of Swords. She can see clearly. We have the Ace of Swords up here, this gift of clear sight, this gift of clarity, discernment on the table as well. The Queen of Swords is not disillusioned. The crone often throws out the Eight of Swords for us, like all the time. It's on the table. It's not here tonight. But to me, that's because when we embody this Queen of Swords energy, we already cut all those away. Your ability to unmask lies in your ability to cut through the illusions. It lies in your ability to use discernment and understanding where your worth comes from, determining what your true definition of achievement and success is, right? It's not your output. It's not your ability to make other people happy. It's not how much work you can get done. That's not where it comes from. Again, with the Star card, we are going to heal those wounds, right? Because that's what they are. They're wounds. And the masks come to cover them up and to prevent them from ever happening again. There's so much power on this table, friends. Like, I hope you can feel it. I hope you can tap into it. Please do, right? Tap into this energy. Two aces. The Star, the Strength card. We have the Nine of Cups. That is one of the best cards, right? Wishes fulfilled. And then there's this just powerhouse on the bottom, right? If I can hold them all. Yeah. King, Queen, King, Queen. Every time I see this card, it reminds me of Chris Hemsworth. Sorry, ADHD. Spirit's going to show up for you, right? Your soul's ready to do this work. Your soul is ready to plan, is ready to cut through, to use your discernment, right? To start over, to sit in this space and examine these wounds, examine the programming that you have running in the background, examine the ways that you've been lied to, examine the ways that you've tried to protect yourself. But I'm here to tell you you're safe. You're safe now. And if you need somebody to remind you, comment below and I'll remind you. We will remind you. This supportive community will remind you that you are worthy just as you are. You do not have to fix yourself. You do not have to pretend to be okay. You do not have to show up for everyone else and sacrifice yourself. You do not have to work that extra shift. You don't have to say yes if you don't want to go out with your friends. Now, you do need to be honest, right? We don't need to lie. We don't need to make excuses. If we feel overwhelmed, just be honest with your friends, right? I feel really overwhelmed right now. I just want to stay home. I need a quiet night in. Okay. And if they can't support you, they weren't really your friends in the first place. But we'll support you. And we can have a chatty chat in the comments while you're at home relaxing. God, this energy is so beautiful. Sending love and light to anyone that is open to receive it. Thank you, Maiden, Mother, and Crone, for this beautiful message, this amazing display of support, the gifts that are coming through for this collective to really change their lives, to step into a new timeline, to completely transform the way they see themselves and the way they see the world. Thank you for that beautiful message. Thank you for giving us this strength so that we can step into these powerful energies to embody the highest versions of ourselves. And thank you. Thank you so much for showing up tonight. Every time you watch one of these videos, you're expanding. You're examining the limiting beliefs you have. You're examining these identities that you've put on. You're examining the masks that you've hidden behind, the wounds that keep you small. That work is not easy, right? It's heavy. So rely on this community to help you through, to help you work through this, right? I made this channel because there wasn't one like it. And I wish someone would have been there for me when I was in my 20s and I was so overwhelmed and I didn't know I had ADHD. I just knew what I was going through, right? No one had the language for it. We have it. We have the language. And we're here to support you. So please let me know in the comments, what do you need support with tonight? Which mask are you letting go of? What resonated the most with you? Which one of these cards, which one of these power cards are you going to use as your emblem, as your sigil, as your symbol for success as you move forward? What energy are you going to focus on primarily? For me personally, it has been the Empress energy that I have been working on, right? I have stepped away from this toxic positivity, toxic, and I want to make a comment on that. Toxic positivity, to me, in the spiritual community, there is so much just like shaming everything. So now there's a term called toxic positivity because people choose to be positive, right? And it is slammed. Like, people slam you if you are toxically positive. When did that happen? Why are we judging anything, right? We need to show up with self compassion, with love, and we can encourage others and speak from our experience and say, I used to pretend that everything was okay all the time, even though it wasn't. And now I know that I'm safe to be honest and vulnerable and share when everything isn't just perfect the way I want it to be. Now, that's the kind of community I want us to be here. I don't want us to judge each other. I don't want us to have to be right to correct each other. We're here to support, to be sacred sisters, to love, right? Love. Love doesn't have to be right. Nope. Love is defenseless. I talked about that a few readings ago. We are here to raise our level of consciousness, to lead with our hearts, get out of the mind. It's not served us well so far. And create a new reality together. Create a sacred space for our sisters, for ourselves to show up and know that we are fine just as we are. We are perfect just as we are, because perfection is literally just presence. That is the definition of perfection. Being present and accepting who you are in this moment and understanding that it's divine. I'd like to remind you, in this channel, always come as you are and stay as you become. Good night, my friends.